Paling is in. Mark Stahl is out.
Okay. And goaltender?
Urs is the goalie.
To whatever extent this run of success here has been based on a consistency you've been able to develop, and what you talk about a lot of time, just the way you guys play the game, just maybe achieving a run of that?
Yeah, I just think just going about it the right way. I think our transition, I'll just go back to the last game. We just showed some tape on it, that we were in the end zone more that game than a lot of other games. Give Colorado credit. But I thought we defended the ice really well, the middle of the ice really well. And I thought our transition was probably some of the best moments of the game, is defending the proper way and getting going offensively. So yeah, there's nothing special. I just think the guys have stayed with it and handled some of the momentum swings. The goaltenders have made key saves at key times, and we find a way to win some games.
What do you think is the key to keeping that up? You said obviously the season has ebbs and flows and things like that. There's some mental aspect of it too, right?
Yeah. It's just being ready to do it again. Yeah. Tonight's an interesting one for us here because it's the third game. We've been on a road. It seems like a month because the games have been spread out and we've had some downtime. Dads are here, a little bit different situations all starting before tonight's game. I just want our readiness to be there as it has been. So I'm anxious to see how we go about it here tonight with some of the other things around us. But that's all we can ask, is try to be as ready as consistently as you can throughout a long year. Sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not, and I get that. But just try to hopefully a higher percentage of the readiness being there.
After the Arizona game, you said that you thought Igor Zamula played really well, one of his better games. It sounds like he's in again tonight. Yeah. Are you seeing his game trending back upwards?
Yeah. He the last 2 or 3 games, I think he's been more consistent within the game. I think he's made some adjustments to his game. We've talked a lot about with him with one hand on his stick because he plays so much with 2 hands, and he loses some of his length that way. I think he's worked at that. I think he's been. It's still a work in progress as far as the pace of the game. Sees the ice very well. I just don't think he moves the puck quick enough. I think he's worked at that. So yeah, he is. He seems more comfortable. So he plays, and as I've said, I don't think him sitting out games and watching other people play hurts him. I think it'll help him. So we watch them, we evaluate, we teach, and then we'll see where we go.
You've mentioned with regards to Cam York that you sort of, maybe not compare, but you've talked about Dan Boyle as being a guy who you could envision him turning into. With Igor, with Zamula, is there anybody who you've coached in your career that he reminds you of a little bit, at least in terms of what you think he could be?
Yeah, it's a hard one for me to answer right now because I've coached so many players, and there's a guy that's probably right next to him in the locker room. Mark Stahl is built similar, uses his stick, has learned to use his stick. I had Stalzy when he was really young when he came in, but same type of body. I think same type of player, where although I think Z has a little bit more offense than Stalzy, but for Stalzy to understand positioning and what his body is and what his stick length is, more than a lot of other people, I think it's a good guy for him to look at. And it's why Stalzy's here. I told you that. It's why Stalzy's here, not just for Z, but for our defensemen. And so he doesn't have to look too far as asking questions. I think Mark Stahl's handled himself very well in giving him some thoughts during games when they've played together.
John, what was your experience like coaching Ryan McDonough?
Ryan McDonough was really young in his career when he came to us in New York. Very quiet, but a quiet intensity about him. His legs, the way he can skate, the way he loved being coached. He was really good, and there wasn't a lot of maintenance with him. He was ready to play. I watch him throughout his career and how he's handled himself. We talk about our young D. watch what type of pro he is, what Mac D is, how he is that way, and how he prepares himself on the ice, how he prepares himself off the ice. There's not a better model than that guy, and felt very fortunate to get him early in his career, and really fun to watch him as he's gone to other teams and watch him throughout his career.
Cam Atkinson has struggled to put points up lately. How would you assess his game at this point?
Yeah, I think he's been around the offense. I think he's been in the offense. I know Cam so well, I can tell with his body language what he's thinking. I think he feels he wants to do more to help the team. Had a chance the other night in the breakaway. The goalie makes 2 great saves on him and Beezer. I think he's gripping it a little bit. I think it affects his energy sometimes where he feels he's just not doing enough for the team. We're going to stay with him, though, because I still think he has created offense. He has created some chances with that line. If there's one guy that needs to score a goal, it's that guy, because I think it releases him from all the other things. Has killed penalties very well for us. I'm not sure if I was talking to Charlie. I think that line has had some struggles defensively. I just want them not to lose sight, no matter what's going on offensively. With each individual, you're playing against some top players in the other teams. They've got to do their job defensively when it's not working so much for, maybe Cam and Lots offensively. So that's what I'm looking at now. And Cam's smart enough to know to continue doing that, and the other stuff will come.
John, going back to Mark Stahl for a second. I know you told us at the very beginning of the year that you had made it clear to him when he signed that he wasn't necessarily going to play every night. But now that that's kind of coming to fruition, he's sitting more. Are those difficult conversations for you to have with him, given that he's a veteran, he's been in so many games, he's had such a strong career?
Yeah. It's not a hard conversation for me, because the biggest thing for me is I need to be honest with Mark Stahl each and every day, and that's what I will do as far as where it's all going. I think Mark's going to be still a big part of this here. I'm not going to lose him completely, because, like I said, I don't think C has to play all the games, no matter how well he's playing. I still think it's a process for him. But these are when Mark and I talked before he signed about what his role was going to be. It's easy to talk about it in the summer and say, yeah. But now he's kind of living through it. What hurt him, what's made it even harder for him, he got hurt and lost some time there. So I also have to, I'm juggling, developing, but also trying to keep him into a flow so he can get some rhythm as a player. And that's hard to do as a defenseman and an older defenseman, to keep some rhythm for him. So that's something that's on my mind a lot too. But Stalzy and I know one another so well, it's kind of a different relationship. We're just going to talk. I had a talk with him yesterday, told him, just checking in on him, see how it's going, because it's hard, because he's a great competitor. Those are things him and I are going to have to work out as we go through this.
And I guess the attitude from him, it's all been positive. Despite the fact that he's
shit! You'll never have a problem with an attitude with that guy. He just doesn't know anything more than think about the team first. I'll never worry about that with him.